Welcome to another scriptural study. We have received many requests over the years to do this scriptural study, and finally we have gotten around to doing it. And this particular scriptural study is a calendar study and astronomical study on the writings from the book of Hanok, or the prophet Enoch, and his 15th day dark moon or conjunction moon phase. Many of you have appreciated the scriptural study videos on why the full moon is new moon. Yes, a fully restored moon is indeed a light on a lampstand, one day out of every scriptural month, announcing new moon day. And from the writings of our only teacher, the Messiah Yahushua, from Matthew chapter 5, verse 15, and I quote, "Nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it shines to all those in the house." And this is why we use this visual always to explain that, because everyone on earth gets the privilege to observe or shamar a new moon day. So what does the first day of a scriptural month with a fully restored moon have to do with the 15th day conjunction or dark moon phase? Well, many of you had requested that we do this study on chapter 78, verse 8 from the book of Hanok, and I quote, "And all her remaining light disappears wholly on the 15th day." Yes, the moon's light, the remaining light, disappears wholly on the 15th day. So we are going to explain the moon phases of that process from the first day of the first month to the 15th day. And in order to do that, it would be extremely wise to stop the video at any time to truly focus on the scriptural calendar and astronomical details being shared. And of course, ensuring that your computer screen or mobile or iPad device is on full view or full screen mode. But first, many have asked us, how did you come to this learning? Well, believe it or not, it's not just one person. It never is. And believe it or not, all through the millennia, people have been studying the sun, moon, and stars. In my particular case, with my better three-quarters, my wife of 33 plus years, we started to ask questions in the late 90s about the calendar of Yahuwah. We regrettably were born and raised into Roman Catholicism, and we were told Sunday was the worship day. We went from the pot to the fire, so to speak, from Sunday to Saturday worship, and we learned very quickly that that was non-scriptural as well. We then started to study the sun, moon, and stars in the late 90s, early 2000s, but regrettably coming from the pot to the fire, from Christianity Sunday to Jewish Saturday, all non-scriptural. We then went into the bonfire of sliver moon methodologies and conjunction moon methodologies. And when we went outside to test and prove them, it didn't work. Nothing worked. We couldn't do it. And our thrust or our intent to learn was, what if the power did indeed go off? Could we actually know when New Moon Day was, subsequent Sabbaths, and the feast days? And with the crescent and conjunction moon approach, it just couldn't be done outside in creation without any devices for man, etc. So as we struggled through the early 2000 time period, thanks to Quinny and her husband William, she introduced us to this individual by the name of Emmett. And Emmett was a full moon believer, but not just a lunar solar believer. He was the first individual that we seen writings on that included the stars, sun, moon, and stars. He ensured everything was included in the celestial or heavenly timepiece from our Father of Lights, Yahuwah himself. So again, I provide the web links to his writings in regards to the books. Emmett was a retired engineer when he really did deep dive studies into this. outside in creation. This is what really introduced us or impressed us about the work of Emmett. He also wrote a book entitled It's About Time, called Enoch, Solar-Powered New Moon. And the great thing about Emmett is that he never took credit for himself. He gave accreditation for all the people that came before him that were doing the very same thing with the sun, moon, and stars. The folks that were worshiping the Father of Lights, not the Father of Darkness or Shadows, the Father of Lights, he gave credit to all those folks. So please stop the video and read this part. This is what was so impressive to us about Emmett. The other thing that was extremely impressive about Emmett was in two other categories. In the actual chapters of the book that he wrote, you can see that the focus was not to be right, but to learn what was right. And where he struggled, he always asked for help. And his blog, his websites, he was always searching for other people doing this work out in creation as well. So you'll notice that that included all of that. But more importantly, which really attracted us to Emmett, was that everything that he did was free. He provided all of that work. And we're talking thousands and thousands of hours of work from this individual, both in writing, let alone website creation, let alone film and photograph footage. This guy was known in our circles as a worker bee. Yes, a Berean. So we have a lot of fun being Bereans, and Emmett certainly was a worker bee. And to this very day, my better three-quarters and I and the folks that we study with from places all over Earth are worker bees. They're not looking to be right. They're looking to find out what is right. So folks that just focus on being right, it's a very prideful approach. Folks that are trying to learn what is right and then really do the hard work as a worker bee to apply it in their lives, that is who we are attracted to. Worker bees. Actual people that roll up their sleeves and get it done, so to speak. So if you're interested, please take the time to read this book. It's what brought us out of the shadows and the darkness to be placed in a position to do these scriptural study videos. And we'll be forever grateful to Emmett. Regrettably, he's no longer with us. But again, he did such great documentation. You'll find out why, when you read this, his approach was very Berean-like. He was what you would probably call a true Nazarene. And he was attempting to do his best to follow the one from Nazareth. There is no doubt about it. And he approached it as a worker bee, serving others. He did not want to be served. He wanted to serve others, and always was offering his work for free without any expectation of anything. Let me read from the start of the book how his approach, which was encapsulated in his website called The 7 Lost Pilgrim Feasts, and that was dated on the pagan day Tuesday, April 7th, 2009. Most of his original website material is no longer up and running because he is no longer with us. So here's what he said and how his approach started through this time period. He said, to discover the true calendar, one must go back to the beginning, where the calendar is revealed in the book about creation, the book of Genesis, which we now know as Bereshit. He goes on to say, the first few chapters of Genesis reveals the mechanism of our Creator's timepiece in the heavens above. It is a timepiece where none can tamper with it. The prophet Enoch was given the task of recording calendar details under the tutoring of an angel, quote, which Uriel, the messenger, the set-apart angel, who was with Hanok, explained the details of the sun, moon, and stars to Hanok, which we can read in the book of Hanok, chapter 71, verse 1. Hanok lived exactly 365 years, as we can read in Bereshith, the precise number of days in a solar year. In fact, Hanok's writing stated that a solar annual day count year, a solar year, was 365 and a quarter, or 365.25 days. Hanok also stated that a cycle of the moon produced annually 354 days. And Hanok further went on to say that the sun and the stars, in their harmony, in their workings, produced 364 days, just like the Book of Jubilee states. This testimony from Hanok pleased our Father of Lights, yes, Yahuwah himself, the only self-existent one, to the point that it was written in the book of Hebrews from the Apostle Shaul, now known today as Paul, in chapter 11, verse 5. Please recognize why so many human beings on earth want to obliterate the writings of Shaul. They reveal so much, let alone the celestial timing piece of our Father of Lights. So don't be surprised that both the book of Hanok and all of the writings of Shaul by many, many people must be obliterated. And again, the scriptures stated that people would do this and that this would regrettably happen, but this reveals much as well, doesn't it? Emmett goes on to say, since the rediscovery of Enoch's book in Ethiopia and its subsequent translation into English, the Creator's true calendar has been right under our noses. It is now time to learn about this special knowledge which can help us find the lost set-apart feasts of our Creator. So, with that said, when I first read Emmett's book, he stated that the sun, moon, and stars only works with a full moon, and the full moon is the first day of the first month. In order to understand why the 15th day is a conjunction moon, or a dark phase moon, we first must understand why Hanok said the first day is a full new moon or restored moon. So we're going to go through the 7 witnesses of Hanok first, and then get into the 15th day. Witness 1 from the book of Hanok, chapter 78, verses 12 through 13, states the following. And on the first day she is called the new moon. So based on this one witness, it really doesn't tell us if it's a sliver moon, conjunction moon, or full moon. Let's move on to witness 2. For on that day the light rises upon her. Okay, with witness 2, we now learn that, okay, new moon day cannot be a conjunction moon because the light doesn't rise upon a conjunction moon. So we nail it down to 2 possible options here with witness 2, a sliver moon or a full moon. Let's continue. Witness 3, she becomes full moon exactly on the day when the sun goes down in the west. This phenomena only happens with a full moon or a fully restored moon becoming or waxing to become full. So this is what we can actually observe in the heavens, or the Shamayim. So this removes the sliver moon option. It becomes further clear why the sliver moon goes away from Hanok's writings. Witness 4, and from the east she rises at night. Please check where a sliver moon rises. And as we all know, the moon rules the whole night through, a full moon, a restored moon only. Both the sliver and conjunction moon do not rule the whole night through. And they are not lights on a lampstand. A conjunction moon is below the horizon, and will explain when it is below the horizon and when it is above the horizon. Remember, a conjunction moon has no light. A fully restored moon is like the writings of our only teacher, the Messiah Yahushua, when he stated, nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it shines to all those in the house. So again, only a full moon shines to all those in the house, like a lighthouse, high on its perch. So again, only a full moon rises from the east. She rises at night. And as we can see here, this is approximately between the second and third night watch, approximately the midnight time period. If we go on to witness 5 from Hanok, the moon shines the whole night through. There is no irony and there is no coincidence from an astronomical standpoint why it states in the book of Tehillim, or Psalms, meaning praises, chapter 136, verse 9, the moon and stars to rule by night. For Yahuwah, our Father of lights, and his kindness is everlasting. This is kindness. Why? Because it's telling us, hello, it's the first day of a scriptural month. This happens once a month, every month, for everyone in the house that are willing to acknowledge the Father of lights. So again, only a full moon shines the whole night through. And as we go through this study astronomically, we will prove that, and more importantly, show how anyone on their very own can prove it to themselves. If we go to Witness 6, Hanok states till the sun rises over against her, rises over against the moon. We believe on this YouTube channel that the true scriptural day start is at dawn, at first light. And if you do indeed test and prove all 4 night watches, you go out to see those wonderful witnesses because you're in awe of what the Father of lights provides, you will see how dawn, or first light, rises over against the moon. You'll see how that light starts to rise over against the moon. And Witness 7 from Hanok states, and the moon is seen over against the sun. So if you're watching from the dawn, first light, all the way towards the sunrise, you'll see how the light is seen over, the moon is seen over against the sun. You'll see how that actually operates for the first day of any given scriptural month, month after month, year after year. So understanding this is critical because it explains why the prophet Yeshayahu in chapter 55, verse 8 and 9 stated the following, and I quote, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares Yahuwah. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Remember, every human timing piece does not look high up in the sky. They're looking either on a wall, and if you're a sliver moon or a conjunction moon person, you're looking towards the horizon. You're not looking up. And the real cool thing about human timing pieces is that they go into a movement of being clockwise. But again, Yahuwah is different. Everything he does is counterclockwise as it relates to timing. And there is no coincidence, in our minds anyways, that the original scriptures were written from right to left. So everything that humankind does is opposite to what the Almighty Father of Lights does, let alone how the Almighty Father of Lights thinks. So now that we know that the first day of any scriptural month is based on a fully restored new moon, how does this prove the writings of Hanok in chapter 78, verse 8, and I quote, "And all her remaining light," yes, all the remaining light from the moon, "disappears wholly on the 15th. So, how do we prove that? Well, we have 3 witnesses to prove that. If we do indeed walk as children of the light, living in the light, based on the writings of Ephesians. Because if we are in the light, we are the light of the world. So illumination, or phases of the moon, is just another excellent witness to prove that the 15th day of any scriptural month is a dark moon phase or conjunction moon phase. So we're going to go through all of the phases every day, because Hanok did not just talk about the first day being a full moon and the 15th day being a conjunction moon or dark moon phase. He talked about each day. And if you understand the writings of Hanok, he talked about how light is given in parts. So that's another study, Yahuwah willing, as time goes on. We're just going to focus now on the 15th day, and we're going to test and prove that together. So we use QuickPhase Pro 4 version 1.10, and make a long story short, we use many other apps and programs, but for the purpose of this scriptural study, we're going to do it live. We're going to do it live for the month that we're in. And as everyone knows, the 30th day of the 7th month, the night before New Moon Day occurred, or Preparation Day, if you will, was the pagan day of Thursday, November 18th, 2021. Preparation Day, if you will, in regards to getting ready for New Moon Day. So make a long story short, I want to get these verses out first, because we ensure that our eyes go before all 4 watches to study the Word. Why do we do that? Because we have such a reverence and respect for the Almighty Father of lights and the gifts that He provides, that we consider them wonders, and thus why our being observes them. And we sit back and go, I see your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have established. What is man that you remember him? So we're going to go through each day, just like Hanok explained, in parts. And we're going to focus from the first day to the 15th day and prove why the first day indeed is a full moon and why the 15th day is indeed a conjunction moon, a dark moon phase. So the night before New Moon Day, which was the pagan day of Thursday, November 18th, 2021, the 30th day of the 7th month, the moon in my area at 11:59 p.m. was 100% illuminated. So let's find out if illumination is a good witness to prove that the 15th day is indeed a dark moon, conjunction phase moon, where the light wholly disappears. So, going to the first day of the 8th month, towards the end of that day, meaning the 2nd and 3rd watch, approximately midnight and beyond, the moon waned to 99.4. I'm using again the midnight time period between the 2nd to 3rd watch. The 2nd day, it waned to 97%. Here it is. The 3rd day, same time period, 93%. 4th day, 87.4%. The 5th day, 80.4%. The 6th day, 72.2%. The 7th day, 63.1%. The 8th day of the 8th month, the first Sabbath of the 8th month, which occurred on Friday, November 26th of the pagan day, month, and year 2021, it waned to 53.2%. By the 9th day, it's below the horizon. Wow. This witness is huge if you truly understand the mechanism, the perpetual motion of the moon. And it waned to 42.8%. The 10th day waned to 32.5%. The 11th day, 22.6%. The 12th day, 13.8%. 13th day, 13.4%. The 14th day, 1.9%. And I'm narrating this video here today on this pagan day of Thursday, December 22nd, 2021. And notice, many people, regrettably on Earth, will say, oh, this is New Moon Day. But again, it doesn't rise in the east. If you know your azimuth, at 29 degrees, it doesn't rise closest to that 90 degree mark. And this is huge witness, but many regrettably ignore it. So again, any inclement weather, it's very difficult to actually see as well. And again, this 20 degree mark is at the midnight time period. Find out where it is at the sunset. You'll be shocked. And thus why Hanok didn't write about a crescent moon. He was writing about a full moon. A moon waxing to become full or already full. And here we are on the 15th day of the 8th month, which is tomorrow. And it will be 0% illuminated, both below the horizon, not visible, and no light, no illumination. So again, this is why we respect and trust the writings of Hanok, as it states in chapter 78, verse 8, and all her remaining light disappears wholly on the 15th. We trust this because we can go outside in creation and observe this. So if the power does ever go off, and there is no human devices, hallelujah, we can use the sun, moon, and stars to tell time. More importantly, the appointed times of Yahuwah. We can know each and every new moon day, every Sabbath, and every feast day. This was the purpose and intent of what Emmett was doing, and this became our intent and purpose as time went on, to get rid of all those world religious views that are focusing on shadows or darkness. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a fast speed view of this that anyone can do in any of the watches. So we chose the midnight between the second and third watch time period. You could do the same view for sunset, again midnight as you see here. You could do dawn, and you can do sunrise. Anyone can do this. So we're going to share how you do this and how you set this up on this particular program called Quick Phase Pro 4.1.10. Okay, as promised, here is the program Quick Phase, and it's configured for 11:59 p.m. and we're looking sometime between the second and third watch, approximately midnight. In fact, it's configured for 11:59 p.m. Again, my area. And this is the night before New Moon Day. And as we all know, New Moon Day was on the pagan day of Friday, November 19th. And that's the first day of the 8th month. So if you want to do a fast version of this, again, this is for the second to third watch, approximately midnight. You could set this up for sunset, again here midnight, dawn, or even sunrise. Again, the phase of the moon and the look of it with its percent illumination or phase can be seen in its different forms at sunset, midnight, towards the dawn, and then sunrise. So we're going to give you the full Monty here. We're going to go really quick. And as you can see, it allows you to go fast forward. And we're going to go all the way to the 15th day of the 8th month. Right now, as you can see. And very simple to do. And we're heading towards December 3rd, the pagan day of Friday, which is tomorrow. So again, simple app to use, simple to configure, simple to explain. So this concludes the witness of phases, moon phases, or illumination. So this is one out of the three witnesses that prove that the conjunction phase is always, or dark moon phase is always on the 15th day. That's illumination. It gets better. So let's take a look at the light, the moon, on a lampstand, meaning can we measure the moon each and every given day as it rises to a higher level? So as we've shared on previous scriptural study videos, on the night before New Moon Day and New Moon Day itself, that moon is the highest in the Shamayim. Does this witness prove as well that the 15th day is always a conjunction or dark moon phase where the light wholly disappears? Well, let's take a look at this witness. Again, using the very same program with the view of the height. So here's the 30th day, the 7th month, the night before New Moon Day, which was Thursday, the pagan day of November 18th. So there's that. Take a look at the fact that we place, again, Matthew chapter 5, verse 15. We always want to keep that in mind. And here we have the highest point, New Moon Day, at 65.9 degrees above the horizon. And as everyone knows, you can measure this with your fingers. You can go on timeanddate.com and just type in star clock, and it will show through the thousands of years how people measured the actual moon in regards to its position above the horizon and in relationship to the stars or specific scriptural stars that it ruled with monthly. So here we are, first day of the 8th month. After that day, that moon will start to come down. It will be lower in the horizon. So what does this witness prove in regards to the 15th day being a conjunction moon? Here we are, second day, 8th month. Boom, it's coming down, 63.1 degrees. The third day, 56.8 degrees. And notice I copied over the percent illumination, how it's starting to wane as well. So not only is the moon waning, losing its light, it's also losing its height. So the fourth day, 48.68, fifth day, 39.4, 29.5 degrees on the sixth day, on the seventh day of the eighth month, 19.1 degrees, and on the first Sabbath of the month, the eighth day of the eighth month, as we can see here, which was again the pagan day of Friday, November 26, 8.2 degrees illuminated. Look at the phase of the moon. Some people call it a half moon. Some people even call it a quarter moon. But bottom line, you can measure it in its percent illumination and degrees to the horizon. Now take a look at the ninth day. Boom, below the horizon. So this is a huge witness in regards to the importance of the phases of the moon, let alone the position of the moon to the horizon. It is now minus 3.01 degrees below, as we can see from the app that we are using. The position going this way, I'll explain in the third and final witness. Let's go to the 10th day, 14.7 degrees below the horizon. Let's go to the 11th day, 26.6 degrees below the horizon. The 12th day, 38.8 degrees below the horizon. 13th day, 50.8 degrees below the horizon. The 14th day, 61.8 degrees below the horizon, again around the midnight time period. And for everyone, if you want to do the same view for sunrise, dawn, or even sunset, you can. It provides a wealth of information. And here we are, the moon now is at its lowest point that it will be for the month, just as a full moon is at the highest point. Notice this relationship. So again, understanding this witness is huge in regards to recognizing a Sabbath, the first Sabbath of any given month, and why the ninth day after the Sabbath is below the horizon. So at the end of the day, and why a 15th day is the lowest below the horizon, or as some say, beyond the horizon. We're going to go into Stellarium now to show this very same view and what it looks like. Okay, here we are on Stellarium, and it's the pagan day of Thursday, December 2nd, around the midnight time period, and take a look where the moon is. It's below the horizon. It doesn't rule the whole night through. If we go to the third, same scenario. Again, only a full moon rules the whole night through, and why a conjunction moon doesn't rule with the scriptural stars, as it's below the horizon. You can do this for any given day scripturally, meaning test and prove where the moon is as it relates to the height towards the horizon, or below or beyond the horizon, as some would say. So again, Stellarium's a great program to test and prove this as well. So why is this second witness about the moon and its height as it relates to the horizon so important? Well, again, take a look at the relationship of a full moon. It rules the night. It doesn't rule the day. The full moon rules the night. The conjunction moon is below the horizon during the night. And it shows up, though, regrettably, during the day. It can't be seen. So why is this relationship so significant from another scriptural standpoint? Well, if we get into the historical records, Josephus told us that on the 14th day of the first month of Abib, the sun was with Aries. The sun was in alignment with the Lamb. And what happened on the 14th day of the first month of Abib? Well, many historians wrote about this great solar eclipse, even from Egypt at the time of the death of the Messiah, Yahushua. Even the historian Eusebius stated that a great eclipse of the sun occurred at the 6th hour, that excelled every other before it, turning the day into such darkness of night that the stars could be seen in the heaven, and the earth moved in Bithynia, toppling many buildings in the city of Nicaea. So, as we've shared in so many scriptural study videos, there is a scriptural sign for the 14th day of a first month of Abib, just like the historians had stated. And just like the astronomical views prove why a 15th day is a conjunction moon event. Because, take a look, the moon, when it's in its conjunction phase or moving towards it, is the only phase that can create what's called a solar eclipse. So in 2020, on the pagan day of April 21st, notice that the historians, the Lamb, Aries, the middle star of the Mazzaroth or constellation known today as Aries, the middle star is known as Hanok. The rest of the scriptural stars are in their proper position for a scriptural sign of Passover, along with Ursa Major and the North Star. We've seen and recognized and clarified this year on the pagan day of May 10th that this same event did occur. It didn't create a solar eclipse, but this again astronomically proves why it's only a conjunction moon phase that can create a solar eclipse. So again, most people will debate this because they don't go outside and test and prove when a true first day or scriptural month is with a fully restored moon, and why a 15th day, just like Hanok stated. And thus, as a result, they will not guard the month of Abib based on the guidance as inspired by the Father of Lights, Yahuwah, as written by Moshe. They'll ignore this. And as such, they'll ignore this astronomical event that occurred 3 days and 3 nights. They'll ignore this outright. But again, we're at peace with that. Scripture stated that there will be people that don't want to be children of light. There will be people that have no desire to walk in the light, to be the light of the world. We knew this was going to happen. So they will ignore the witness of illumination, the phases of the moon. And as Hanok stated, by day, he explained how the moon received parts or portions of light, and thus why people of this world will not even recognize that the light on a lampstand, the first day of every given scriptural month, will be seen in the house for everyone on earth. And thus why people will not even believe the directional viewpoint. So let's get into the direction, the third and final witness of the moon that proves why a 15th day is indeed a conjunction moon event. So using the same program, here is the 30th day of the 7th month, the night before New Moon Day. And as you can see, it was 181.1 degrees on the azimuth. Now, let's talk about direction and why it's so important and why this gift from Yahuwah himself is so value added for those that want to walk in the light. So here we go. First day, here it is. And again, this is for the 8th month that we're presently in. It was 155 degrees. Here is the second day, 130 degrees. Here it is the third day, 112 degrees. Fourth day, 100 degrees, right there. Fifth day, 91.6. Sixth day, 85.3. Here it is, 80.2 on the 7th day. The first Sabbath of the 8th month, the 8th day of the 8th month, which is tomorrow, Friday, November 26th. It's 75.8. Take a look at the 9th day. It's no longer a quarter or half moon. It's now decreasing in its light and decreasing in height, coming down. And it's 71.5 degrees. The next day, the 10th day, 67.1 degrees. Notice how it's decreasing in degrees as well. Decreasing in light, decreasing in height, and decreasing in direction. So that's the 10th day. The 11th day, 62. And the 12th day, 55.5. The 13th day, 45.7. The 14th day, 29 degrees. And look at the 15th day. Look at its relationship to day 1 and the highest points. Look at that relationship. So again, you can ignore these witnesses. We don't advise that you would do that, because these are gifts given to us from the Father of lights. 3 witnesses just with the moon, over and above what the sun and stars do. And this is why we trust the writings of Hanok, because we can go outside with a camera and take photograph and film footage. So if the power does go off, we are not left stranded. We have more than one witness. So let's continue to use all of these witnesses. So the first witnesses being the moon phases, illumination. And again, Hanok numbered his days, not just one day. And he explained how each day, how the moon received light in regards to portions of light. He also explained, along with many others, including the Messiah, Yahushua, that the moon, the fully restored moon, is a light on a lampstand. And they are not going to put it under a basket. The Father of lights is going to make sure that everyone sees that, announcing the restored new moon day, giving us hope about all of the restoration of things that are to come. And the word is a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. These 3 witnesses give us direction on how to walk, when to walk, and where to walk. I'll close with this. In the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 27, it states, and I quote, "For as the lightning comes from the east and shines to the west, so also shall be the coming of the Son of Adam." So if the Messiah is going to walk from east to west when he returns, and the astronomical witnesses do the same thing, both with percent illumination, decreasing in regards to height as well, and decreasing in the direction, just as we've seen in this counterclockwise motion. Well, this is why we are going to believe Hanok even further when he describes the true first day of every scriptural month as it moves from east to west, shining through the whole night and shining with specific scriptural stars as designated with the moon and stars to rule by night for each specific scriptural month. All of this is intertwined in a lovely manner. And thus why the prophecy states from the prophet Zechariah, chapter 14, verse 4, and I quote, "And in that day his feet shall stand upon the Mount of Olives, which faces Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall be split into from east to west." Again, east to west. So why is this so significant? When the Messiah returns, it'll be in the Mount of Olives, and he will move from east to west, just like the Father of lights witnesses move in that counterclockwise fashion, just like how the original scriptures were written from right to left in a counterclockwise fashion. Even the architecture of the temple was built accordingly. Notice how Islam, the world religion of Islam, knowing all of this, built a cemetery in front of the Golden Gate, thinking that's going to stop the second coming. How foolish. So, in closing this scriptural study, yes, Emmett, thank you for everything that you had done, and all of the people that are still with us, that are still doing this work, because your work has been nothing but inspirational, and we thank you for recognizing all of the folks that have been doing this. This is not something new. The sun, moon, and stars have been with us, and they have been worker bees for thousands of years sharing this information. So this is why we love to be Bereans, worker bees, because like the Messiah, Yahushua, our only teacher, stated, we enjoy the fact that we have received this without payment, and that we are going to give this information, all of the witnesses of light, without being paid. Because the reward just to be part of this is unbelievable. We do not deserve this gift and privilege in regards to being allowed to do this. We thank you, who are Father of lights, for providing us his sun, moon, and stars, those perfect gifts and witnesses from above to number our days. Again, we're only skimming the surface of what Hanok actually stated. Please take the time to read that book from Emmett, and it comes with a spiritual approach. And it's this: it's not what we think we know, but but rather what we can prove in creation together as one. That'll unite us. And this is the bottom line. This is the punchline. If we use all of the witnesses of light from our Father of lights, then indeed that will unite us all. And this is why we look at all of the witnesses, because we believe they are wonders. And this is why our being observes them. And this is why we go out in all 4 night watches to study the Word. But world religions wants to hide the witnesses, or just give you a small portion of a witness in a small portion of a specific night watch, whether it's in the first watch at sunset, or for some folks that look at a small portion in the 4th watch at sunrise, the end of the 4th watch. It's a shame, but that will continue. We knew it would. But this is the methodology of the world and its world religions and how it hides and divides. I will close with one final scriptural passage. It comes from the book of Yehukanan, or John, chapter 1, verse 5 through 7. And I quote, "And this is the message which we have heard from him and announced to you, that the Almighty Father of lights is light, and in him is no darkness at all. If we say that we have fellowship with him, and we walk in the darkness, we lie, and are not doing the truth. But if we walk in the light," yes, all of those witnesses of light, "as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another." So again, if we use all of the witnesses of light, we will be united on the right day. There's not 2 new moon days every month. There's not 3 new moon days every month. There's 1 new moon day. There's 1 Sabbath on the 8th day, which is the first Sabbath of the month. The second Sabbath is the 15th day, which is a conjunction moon. So this is why it's so important to utilize all the witnesses. And here's the punchline. "And the blood of Yahushua Messiah, his son, cleanses us from all sin." Messiah Yahushua taught us that the light is on a lampstand. The first day of every given month is a fully restored month. This is why it gives us hope with the restoration of all things that is still to come. So let's learn the mechanics of a fully restored full moon. Yes, that perpetual motion of continuity that also shares why a 15th day from the writings of Hanok is indeed a dark moon or conjunction moon phase. Let's not be like the world. The world looks at crescent moons, shadows, or conjunction moons. And a crescent moon was first sighted low on the western horizon. It doesn't rise in the east. This is why Hanok did not write about a crescent moon. The full moon rises in the east. A crescent moon rises in the western horizon at sunset. So please learn about what is known as positional astronomy. You will be glad that you did. And again, the moon does not always greet the sun at sunrise. It's a great witness, but it's only one witness. 2 to 3 times a year it doesn't. And this is why some people regrettably are erroneously proposing more than 1 new moon day all over Earth. And if they understood what they were saying, you can't have 2 new moon days back to back, or a third, as we talked about in the previous new moon day video for the 8th month. So this will clarify itself. Everything will be restored. We have full confidence, and this silliness will continue to be stated, but we're at peace. Yahuwah, our Father of lights, told us that the world and the folks with a presumptuous mindset would actually make these presumptions, even though they're incorrect, both astronomically and scripturally. So hallelujah for Bereans, those worker bees that are concerned for one another in order to stir up love and good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as is the habit of some, but encouraging and so much more as we see the day coming near. We continue to call upon the name of the Father of lights, Yahuwah himself, the only self-existent one, that these scriptural study videos provide value to you and your loved ones. Until next time, may the Messiah Yahushua be in everything we say and do. And please be worker bees. Share what you glean. We look forward to all of these scriptural studies and this privilege to walk in the light as children of the light. Have a YAHsome day, everyone.